People, Deluded, I'm back again. I'm here with a special guest, someone I've really wanted to talk with. Nathan, how you doing?
I'm good, thank you. How are you?
I'm good, man. I'm good. I mean, the weather's not too good today, but 2 days ago I was wet because I'm down and the weather's nice and we can't do anything.
Yeah, man, that's true.
What you been doing to keep pass the time with this lockdown?
I've been watching like football stuff on YouTube, been playing PlayStation with my friends, and like doing my rehab to get back from injury.
You on P4?
Yeah.
You gotta let me smack you up at FIFA, man. You gotta let me smack you up at FIFA, my guy.
You can try.
Smoky talk. I like that. That quiet confidence. But you mentioned injury. What injury you going through at the moment, my guy?
Knee injury.
What happened?
In February in West Ham against West Ham. I think I tore one of my meniscus, so I had to have surgery. So yeah, I'm recovering from that.
What did you? Was it one of them injuries where at the time you've done something, or was you like playing on it and then?
At the time I knew I'd done something, but I played on. But yeah, I knew that I'd done something, and it was hurting like the day after.
Was that your first big injury in your career?
No.
What other injuries you had, man? Sad to say.
When I was 15 in the tour in Malaysia, I broke my leg.
Swear.
And then, yeah. And then when I came back from that, and under 16 season, I fractured my pinky toe.
Wow. How did you fracture your pinky toe?
Someone stamped on it.
Oh gosh. How did you fracture it? How did you break your leg in the previous Malaysia?
I was dribbling like I went past like two players, and then as I've gone to pass it, I think like he's just wiped me out from behind. Yeah.
What was the most painful one?
The one in Malaysia.
Okay. What was the hardest one to take in terms of like you feel you've been set back sort of thing?
They're all different types of ways, but like with injuries, I know it's like part and parcel of the game. And every time I've been injured, I've come back stronger, so they don't really faze me.
I mean, I've spoken to you for a while, and one thing I really like about you is, as well as all your footballing talent, is you're very strong mentally, and that's testament to yourself, but also your upbringing. It's obviously, you've said it, it's part and parcel of the game, but how exactly did you keep your head up in the moments, especially this year, because, you've had a decent season at under 18 level. Yeah, man, you could have felt sorry for yourself, but you've just kept your head strong and not allowed yourself to get depressed.
Yeah, obviously, I'm lucky that I have a great family with me. My sisters are great. She's older than me, but she like talks to me like she's my age, so like we have a great bond. Also, my mum, my dad was also so supportive of me. So like, I feel like why should I be in doom and gloom when like I'm gonna be able to get past this. Also, cause I believe in God as well, so I just pray and I know He'll get me through things.
That's great to hear, man. It's lovely to hear that faith is something that's so strong. So talk to me about your early days at Arsenal, man. I mean, not even Arsenal, your early days in football, sorry. When did you start kicking football? How did you start kicking football?
Funny enough, I've never played for a Sunday league team.
Swear down.
Yeah, I swear. Like when my dad, when I was like in primary school, like young, like reception year one, used to take me to this goals thing, and I think they were connected with Leyton Orient at the time. So like doing that for a while, like I used to play football, but I never used to take it seriously. One time, my friend that used to go to my school recommended me to go to the goals thing, because in the playground I used to rip it up basically. So everybody. Yeah. So I went to goals, and then from there I was they thought I was talented, so they took me to Leyton Orient, where I trained for a while. I started my journey at Leyton Orient, but I wasn't really signed. I was just training with them.
Okay, how did the move to Arsenal come about? Was it a case of they saw you playing for Leyton Orient, or you left Leyton Orient and got picked up?
Nah, I got scouted from Leighton Orient. When I was training with Leighton Orient, there was an Arsenal scout watching. Then I got, luckily enough, I got scouted at Arsenal.
How old did you? So this is like 6, 7, 8.
Yeah, but then I had also like, because at that time, like at that age, you can go around different clubs, right?
Mm.
So I went to Chelsea. I was at Chelsea. So like going to Chelsea because I live in East London, and Chelsea's training ground is like outside of London, Cobham.
Mm.
So like some days, like in primary school, I have to come. My mum used to come back from work, pick me up from school. I had to go straight to the train station, eat food, and then, like eat food on the train, and then go straight on the train, like a 1 hour, 2 hour train journey, just to train that night, and then the same time way back. Yeah.
That's a madness. So I take it, obviously, because of the logistics, that's what, on top of you wanting to play for Arsenal, that's why you and your family play for Arsenal.
Yeah, my dad always wanted me to play for Arsenal, and I love
That's your
Arsenal.
dad.
Yeah, I love Arsenal. So yeah, it was a good choice for me. Like looking in hindsight.
Where in East are you from exactly? Like Walthamstow?
Walthamstow, yeah.
So you're as, don't get me wrong, I wish you was a North Londoner, because we ain't got none, but you're as North London as it kind of gets, because you're from Walthamstow.
Yeah, it's a couple of like 10 minutes away. 10 minutes away.
So you've seen up close, like your story's a bit different because you played for Arsenal, but like you live 2 minutes away more or less from Hale End. So how's that sort of felt like?
Yeah, like my house is like literally like 4 minutes from Hale End. So yeah, from like when I was young, and when I got old enough, like 12, 13, my mum never used to drop me anywhere. I used to wake up and walk to football. I used to be so good. Especially some days it would be good when the sun's shining, just go down the underpass, walk. And then sometimes it's raining, hailstones, mum's not picking up the phone, just got to walk home.
Character building, my guy. Character building, man. Talk to me about being in the Arsenal academy, because obviously I would have loved to have done that, but you know, from anything from 6 to 20 years of age, you deal with a lot of questions. The club are always trying to bring in the best talent. There's a lot of pressure that you could have put on yourself. How did it feel going through the academy? Did you see friends get released? How did that make you feel? Have you ever been close to being released?
Yeah, I've seen like when I was like 6, 7, like nearly like none of the squad that I've made it like so far. Like they've gone to different clubs. Even so far, some people have stopped playing football. With me, I think that obviously when I was younger, I was quite small, so like I didn't really like the physicality of the game because like I thought the bigger boys, they would tackle me rough and injure me and stuff like that. But like I always knew that I had like the quality and like I have the vision. So I think that's why like they persevered with me. And then when I was about, I'd say, like how in the younger years, like under 6s, under 7, 8s, I was very good because I was playing striker, and like they'll nickname me like Jermaine Defoe. Like, yeah. But then like I would say the under 12 season when we went to 11 aside, that was a struggle. Initially that was a struggle because the boys were bigger than me. Like the rates of growth and people being more mature than me, it was tough. So I think that season was the most difficult season. But then the next season, like obviously we've been doing stuff with the gym, and like Arsenal have great facilities. So I think I worked my way up to match the physicality because I believe that like no matter how big you are, like it's the easier you can fall for me basically. So
that makes sense. That makes sense. Just to go back on that question, what extra work did you do? Because like you said, you was a bit behind physically. Did you do extra core work? Was you hitting the gym? Was you doing extra work with your dad? Was you doing more explosive drills?
My dad always tells me to work on myself. He'll take me like just to do one-on-one, nothing like over the top because he doesn't really like stuff like that. Like he wouldn't let me go like with one-on-one like trainers and stuff like that. because he thought that that would just be burning me out for like performing where I need to be at Arsenal. So we just worked on my technical things, and he always reassured me that the physicality will come with age, because obviously I'm a late developer. So like he always reassured me, which I'm grateful for.
That's a great way of, yeah, your dad's a very wise man. And watching you, you wouldn't, obviously you're one of the smaller players, but you don't, you're one of the most powerful sort of on it, especially when you beat a man and stuff.
Yeah.
So yeah, you've always been resilient. But you know when you lot turned scholars, was it a nervy time for you? Did you like think you wasn't gonna get a scholar? Did you think you was? How did you feel that?
Because that season, I think under 15 season, that's when I broke my leg, and I was coming back from injury. I was out for 10 months. I was out for 10 months. I got injured in, I think it was December 2018. Came back October 2018. So in the under 16 season, I was like, I can't be living on like my
Past.
like in the under 15 season. So when I came back, I had to hit the grass running. So luckily on my first game back from injury, I remember it was against West Ham at home. I scored on my first touch of the game, and I was like, such an unreal moment, because it just showed like how perseverance and like faith can get you so far. And then from that, like I just went on the under 16 season. I kept growing confidence. I think the next game I played Tottenham, I scored, and then I played Tottenham again in the under 16 season, and I scored a hat trick. And I think, and then my last game in the under 16 season, not the under 16 season, before I got injured in the under 16 season, was at Everton at St George's, and I scored. I think that was a cup game. So yeah, and then that's when I got my pinky toe injury. So I thought that I was doing so well. Why has this happened again? But I thought that the performances I put in like previous to the pinky toe injury would lead me in good stead.
That's one thing. I mean, it's lovely to hear you saying that, man. You never let things knock you. You take things into your stride. So obviously, you've signed a professional. You signed a scholarship. What do you feel like? Talk me through the day of signing the scholarship. Was it like did they sit you in a room and say you're getting it? How did it go? How did you feel, man? Take me through memory lane.
I remember, because building up, a lot of boys were getting like staggered their meetings, and obviously my mum got an email saying they want to meet me. I remember my heart beating so fast, like, like thoughts going in my head, like, what if I don't get it? Have you done enough? Things like that. But luckily, they had meet us, and then offered me a scholarship. Me, my dad, and my mum was in the meeting. So yeah, and I was so happy that night. So like after my mum and dad, they took me to a restaurant and gave me whatever I wanted.
Down to you're in the big league now, sort of thing. Obviously, I would say it's bittersweet. It's not bittersweet because it's a lovely moment, but obviously, while you've done that, I assume you have friends in the academy who might have been told, "No, I'm not getting a scholarship." So, what did that feel like?
Yeah, I had lots of friends that unfortunately didn't get scholars, but at the end of the day, like even though it's a team sport, like I've learned, like I used to be a person that thought like, let me try and help my teammate out. Maybe he cares about me as well. But like as time goes on, you start to see like if you're too nice in this game, like you eventually get eaten. So even though I really like my friends, but I had to focus on myself. But luckily for most of them, they got clubs after they didn't get their scholar. Most of them.
So it's a cutthroat business, and I want to ask you this because you've set me up nicely. How do you balance? I guess as playing for a team and in an academy, you want to show what you can do, but you also have to be a team player. And I hear a lot of boys, not when they get to your level, but within the academy scene, they kind of struggle with that. So how did you find balance between showing, I'm Nathan, this is what I can do, without probably going over the top, sort of thing?
I'd say because naturally I'm a team player. Like I pass the ball a lot. I like creating. I'd say if I had to choose between scoring goals and creating, like creating could be up there with scoring goals, because it's just like a feeling of like, I've helped you do this, like I've created this out of nothing sort of thing. So, but I say scoring goals is like more important though. So yeah, following on for your question, um, I'd say, yeah, you just have to obviously play your game within the team structure, I'd say, because if you do your part in the team, your talent will show and the team's performance will elevate. So it was a win-win situation.
That makes sense. That makes sense. So talk to me about, obviously, you've become, let's go forward a bit. You've become a first-year scholar. What were the things that shocked you? Like, was it the fact that obviously you're training every day now, games are coming fast? Was it the physicality of the game? Was it the quickness at this level? What sort of things took you by surprise?
I remember my first session at Coney, and I was absolutely blowing. Like this, and like the second years, like that session to them was like easy. So like it showed like the different levels between like under 16 football and under 18 football. So yeah.
Would you say there's more running? Would you say there's more tactical behind it?
There's definitely more running.
How's the season gone for you from a personal point of view, though? Obviously, it's not ended nicely for anyone. I personally feel you as one of the better performers at the under-18 level, and you're one of these players that don't necessarily get the credit. Purely, I believe that's because many people are not actually watching academy games; they're just watching clips on YouTube. I feel you've been very consistent, and you're doing all you can to step up into the 23s. But that's fun and games for me to say that.
Yeah.
How do you feel the season went from a personal point?
I think that I've progressed in the team. Like I've become like a starter in the team, which I'm proud of. Also, I was scoring goals, assisting, and like most of my games have been like, as you said, consistent performance levels. I'd say um, I've I've done well in like improving some of my weaknesses from when I was under 16 because maybe I was a bit raw back then. But I think I'm becoming more defined in my play. So yeah.
That makes sense. That makes sense. I also wanted to ask you, whenever I watch the 18s, do you feel that you personally have a sense of you need to make the difference for the 18s? I say this because, like you said, you scored an assist, but it's actually not been them. It's like when the team's been losing or they're drawing, you seem to be one of the players that kind of rolls your socks up and goes, "Yeah, I'm really not down for this. We need to get something out." And if you didn't necessarily assist, it was part of it. So, do you feel a personal sense of responsibility placed on your shoulders?
Yeah, like when the team is not performing well, like when I play, I'm very emotional. Not like crying and stuff like that, but I'm very emotional. The wrong word. I'm very passionate. So I'll try and do my utmost best to like help the team because the team is the most important thing at the end of the day. And me contributing to the team will not only benefit my individual situation, but the collective, which is important as well.
Of course. How do you feel the season's gone from a collective point of view?
Obviously, it's been disappointing for in this the league situation because say at the beginning we was up and down. I think the season has been up and down, to be honest, and like we as players have to take responsibility for that. But I thought that if we got to far in the FA Youth Cup, because my last FA Youth Cup game was against Southampton, so I thought I played well in the Southampton game, but obviously I didn't get to play the Brighton game because I was injured. Yeah, so I think they done well at FA Youth Cup, but I think against Blackburn, like I don't want to like wrap it up and say it was an off day. I think the boys and knowing the boys, they can do 100% more better than that. Like what they showed that day is not a reflection of how hard they work in training. They're fully, yeah.
Yeah, we know these Arsenal players. I mean, people think, they're privileged and stuff. We know you lot work very hard to not only accomplish your goals, but try and be better humans. We've spoken about your season. Obviously, you're a professional footballer. You do a lot of self-reflection. What do you feel has been your best and worst game at this season at under 18s level for you personally?
Personally, under 18s level, I'd say Tottenham, because like in a game, I would know like if I'm gonna have a good game, like in the early minutes, like my touch, like how I'll like as soon as I get the ball, I'll try and take on my fullback to see like what he's saying. So I say Tottenham because I scored 2 goals in that. I probably should have had like 4 or 5. Southampton FA Youth Cup. That was a good performance, I think. What else? I'd say the other Southampton game, like we played the next week. That was a good game. And I think earlier in the season against Brighton, yeah. My worst game, I think, was Cheltenham because even though some people don't think that I didn't play bad, but personally, I think I could have done better. But the conditions, not that it's an excuse, but the conditions that day, it was hailstones, it was raining, like obviously with me being like a dribbler, I'm dribbling, and then sometimes like they're getting lucky escape with the ball skidding off my foot and stuff like that. And like when I'm passing, it's because the pitch in Cheltenham, it was good, but it had a lot of traction. So when I'm passing it, it's not going as fast as it should go. So it's cutting it out. So I played all right against Cheltenham, but I would say that wasn't that good.
What would you say your biggest strength and a possible weakness in your game?
My biggest strength, I think, is dribbling, 1v1 attacking, link up play, and pace, and crossing. Also, I think my weakness, I need to become like I know I have like the ability to like obviously to like turn my, as I said before, to become less raw and like more defined and like score more, yeah, exactly that. Score more goals and assists. Because the positions that I get in like in every game, my numbers should be very, very high. So just gonna do work in training and then get back to like cement that and like do work and training like when I'm at Arsenal, just like at a power league or goals or something like that.
Speaking of training, who's the best in training for you guys? Or you personally? Who feels excelled in training? Is a model example.
What, in under 18s?
Yeah. Or have you trained with the first team or 23s in that?
Yeah, I've trained with the first team.
You might as well talk me through all of them then, man.
First team for me is Mesut Ozil.
Must be.
It's like he doesn't even have to touch the ball. Like it's like he's magnificent. That's the word that I have to use for him. I was in awe.
I mean that's a perfect example. I mean that's a good. He sees the game before it's happened. Was there anybody else in the first team?
I liked David Luiz. His leadership. He's very composed. Obviously Aubameyang, his shot is ridiculous. Who else is there? I'd say, yeah, they all were good. They're all very good as well. The tempo and the possessions is very, very high. Very high.
And in at 18s and 23s level?
23s level, I'd say Troy Coyle. He's good. Who else is there? Tyrese.
Good shout.
Yeah. Emil.
Yeah. Must be.
Yeah. Yeah. And then in under 18s level, I'd say Kilo. Kilo's very good. He's very skillful. And who else is there? Ben. I like playing with Ben. Yeah. And Matthew Dennis in training. Matthew Dennis in training is great. He's like, sometimes he can be unplayable when he puts his mind to it.
That makes sense, man. That makes sense. What was I going to say to you? How did you mentioned you've trained with the first team? I actually was unaware of that. How did that work out? Was it a thing where you was training with the 18s and came over and said you need some numbers, or what was it? How did it go?
I've trained like a few times with the first team. sometimes it's like I think the first time was when it was like under 18s went over there, like all of us. But I've had like after like I think the FA Youth Cup game, I just got told I was training with the first team. So yeah, and other times I've been like similar situations as well. It's been notified that I'm training with the first team. It's good.
Has the gaffer ever, I assume Arteta, has he ever pulled you aside and given you some pointers to encourage you and things like that? Or any of the coaches?
Yeah, the coaches, I remember they came and watched the FA Youth Cup game against Southampton, and they basically said what I know what I need to improve. They said that basically like yeah, I can like beat any defender 1v1. It's just like making sure my end product is like being more efficient with my end product. I think that's the word. And then like I'll become like a better player. So yeah.
That makes sense. Did you set any goals at the start of this season? Any targets?
Yeah, I wanted to, because at the start of the season I wasn't starting. I wasn't starting in the under 18s, so I wanted to break through in the under 18s team, which I done. I had a target to train with the first team, but I never thought I would train in the first team.
Congratulations, man.
Yeah. And like be involved in a under 23s game. I played a Checker Trade Trophy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What was that like?
Yeah, that was. I came on when we was losing, and like in the crowd, it's something that is completely different. When I come on, I'm playing on the wing on the other side. The crowd when I come in, when I got the ball, they're whistling, they're booing, I'm like, and I just got to get on with it. So, and that's something that you don't get in like academy games. Everyone's just neutral, but they'll be singing songs and stuff like that. So, yeah.
Was that something you relished a bit more? Because I personally feel, obviously, I think under 18 games should be protected. But like you just said, it was scoring to you. I think one big thing teams could do for players is prepare them for that. Is it something you relished? I mean, obviously, you don't want people saying nasty things or whistling, but it's something as a professional you're going to have to deal with. Is it beneficial?
I didn't hear any nasty things like that. It's just like the atmosphere was hostile. Yeah, hostile. Yeah, I did relish it. At first, I was 16 at the time. I was taken back. I was like, oh, but like once like the initial 5 minutes, once the nerves get out, like I would play my game, and like I wasn't phased that there were 13 players. I just focused on my game.
And what was I going to say? So, what's the target for next season? Without going into too much detail.
Yeah, get back to injury. Hopefully, like be a top performer for the under 18s. Try and push myself for the under 23s if I can. And yeah.
I mean, you've been at Arsenal for time, so you have to have had their memories, lots of memories. Have you got some memories that will always stay with you at Arsenal? Has it been good stuff in pre-season? You know, your first trial? What?
I remember there's a lot of things. I'll take you through it.
Man.
I remember my first day at Arsenal was wearing the training kit was the purple training kit. That's how old. Remember the purple one?
Yeah.
The purple one, and I was in the dome, and like at that age, it was just a lot of technical stuff. And I remember we were just doing in and out of cones, like drag backs, all sorts of skills. So that was good. I'd say winning the Liam Brady Cup last season,
madness,
with the under-16 season, that was great. The boys were amazing, and that was my second game back from my pinky, my toe injury. Yeah, so that was good. What else? We've been on tours. Going to the Dallas Cup was good.
You played quite well.
Yeah, that was good. That was good. Very good experience. I like Dallas. And I'd say under 16 season when I scored a hat trick against Tottenham.
That's always going to be a good thing to say, man. Always, always. That makes sense, man. Obviously, you're a winger, and I've already said it, and but the way you speak, I think the viewers can understand. You're someone that likes to learn from others, someone that likes to learn from themselves. Wouldn't say you idolize a player or you try and copycat a player per se, but is there a player, like, whether they're at Arsenal now or historically, that you try and model your game from or take little parts to add it to your own sort of thing?
Yeah, I take little parts from. I'm watching football all the time. I'm a student of the game, so I like Gnabry, like how he's like evolved like that. That shows like that just proves to me like if you work hard at your game, anything can happen. But look how much of a top player he is now. Same with Sterling. Like his slight adjustments of his game has led him to be more defined and polished. But like all time, my dad like always telling me to watch videos of Ronaldinho. So that's the
That's
greatest
a
player of
great
all
man.
time. Yeah. So I like watching Ronaldinho and Thierry Henry.
Great answers, man. Great answers. Shout out to your dad, man. Your dad's a very knowledgeable man. I swear down. Obviously you've mentioned your dad, and I'm pretty sure I speak to you when I say your dad's had a massive impact on your career. But
Yeah.
equally, you've had other coaches at Arsenal. So who's been the biggest impact on your career? Has there been any manager that said a word or a line or some bit of advice that's always stuck with you? You find yourself consistently saying it again and again in your head.
Um, um, Freddie, when he was a coach, like he really gave me confidence. Like he's always talking to me. Such a great man, and obviously a great person to get advice of, because he's done it in a visible team, he done it at the top level, and for him to just believe in me is like humbling.
Mm. What was Lumberg like as a manager?
Like he lets you express yourself. Like even though like he give you opportunities to play up, and he's just like he gives you empowerment, like to make your own decisions, to be bold, to be confident. You know what I mean? So
Mm.
yeah, and that's what you need as a
Sorry, I cut you off. Go on, carry on.
and that's what you need as a winger, isn't it? So like it's great.
Do you see any similarities with his former manager in him in Arsene Wenger with Lumberg?
Pardon?
Do you see any similarities in Lumberg that Wenger previously had?
Yeah, yeah.
It makes sense, man. It makes sense. It makes sense. Has there been anyone else for you?
Um, um, in my younger years, a coach called Kurt, he was good. Like very refining my technical qualities. Um, and all of the coaches at Arsenal have been, even like, doesn't matter, even if at some stages I felt frustrated or like that's just helped me to grow as a player. So I can only thank every coach at Arsenal for doing that I've worked with.
That makes sense. And as for obviously previous players have been returning to Arsenal. You mentioned Lumberg. Have you had much of a conversation with Per Mertesacker?
Yeah, yeah, he. I remember when I had broke my leg in Malaysia. Like he just came in and he said, I didn't know how he got my number, but he sent me encouraging messages and stuff like that. And since then, the relationship between us has been great. He's been very like not a father figure, but someone that you can look up to and like go to for advice. And he's firm but kind. Like he expects you to be consistent and be at the level that you he expects of ourselves. So yeah.
Mm. And finally, I'd like to ask you. Obviously, throughout your career, you've shown resilience. But what would you say is the most important attribute for a young player to have? It could be, resilience. It could be technical ability. What's the one thing you think everyone needs to have to make it?
Um, I'd say in this like generation, especially where I'm from, like don't like cutting people off that don't have your best interests at heart, even if that's your friends. Um, like because a lot of people will be like jealous of you of like what you're doing and like try and put you down, but like if you stay focused and determined, like going to train on by yourself instead of like doing other stuff that's not going to benefit your game. It's just to pass time. Like that stuff is not. It's not beneficial. So I'd say to any young person, like be aware and wise to who you hang around, because the people who you hang around are representing like yourself. So yeah.
That was going to be my final question. I mean, you're from a similar area to me, and you've mentioned a great thing about who you can trust. Playing for Arsenal, like your upbringing, playing for Arsenal, do you find it hard to trust people because you know you play for Arsenal? It's almost like you find yourself people want to use you for something. People might not be genuine. People might just not want you for Nathan, just want you for the fact that you're number 7 for Arsenal's under 18.
Yeah. Yeah. When I was like at the start of the 18 season, I was a bit, I'd say, naive. But when I've like matured, and I've like, I don't really give the like people the chance to like, because I only really talk to people that like know me and like I think they've got good intentions. So they're all my good friends and family and people I know.
That's a fantastic way to answer that, man. And Nathan, I've really enjoyed speaking with you. So I'd like to say from the bottom of my heart and on behalf of everybody listening, thank you for doing this. Thank you for taking time out of your day, man. I hope you stay safe. Hope you recover well from your injury. And we look forward to seeing you score more goals next season, my number 7.
No problem, man. I rate your stuff, so.
It means a lot you saying that, man. I'm trying, man. I'm trying. Take care, man.
No.